Who is Keenan Brown?
Keenan Brown is federal inmate 6000266. I was indicted in 2005. I was sentenced to life in 2009, and I overturned my conviction in 2015.
He never rolled. My brother Gene, Joey the Mig, they don't roll. They're doing 1,000 years now. They don't roll. They don't rat white. That's the rule. You don't break, you don't rat. Basic rules.
Hey yo, we grew up in the cold, so we know how it feel. Now we living by the code, never show or reveal. Nino did 10 and 25 and gave it back on the bill. Never ratted on his friends, he was facing the wheel. Almost died when we was 9, it's like he made out of steel. If you ever heard his story, it would give you the chills. I'm talking Southwest Philly, that's the way he was built. From the bottom of the barrel in the midst of the filth. But a rose grew out that, he rose from out that. And everything he lost alive made sure he got back. Story written.
I met Keenan Brown. This was around 2008 over a federal detention center. He was actually being moved from 5 North to 5 South. It was a method that they done to kind of grind up individuals that was standing tall, man. Oh, from the rip, when I first seen him, I just knew he was kind of young, but I didn't really know because he was very mature. So my mindset was like, I don't like really being around the younger guys at the time. But he was one of the younger guys, but he was able to be around the older gentlemen. So he had a nice mindset, and he had a lot of strength with him.
I say I was about 16 when I got involved, really involved, other than seeing it. I was in Job Corps. I dropped out of high school and went to Job Corps, which is like an away school. Supposed to be like sort of like a mini college. And while I have Job Corps, you know, people had things that I lust for. So I found the way to like smuggle weed back. And I would like smuggle weed back, give it to kids till payday, and they pay me more, or just sell it to them regular. And like that gave me like a thirst to want to do more. And from Job Corps, I stayed 6 months, got homesick, went back home, and street life kind of like got a little hold on me. Stopped playing ball, went full-fledged into the streets. While I was in the streets, we was dead broke. Like nobody knew this, but we was broke. So like one day I got a letter, and the letter was like from the government, some type of government agency, and it said I had a check. I'd rather not really get into the amount of the check because I feel stupid for how much I spun, but it was from my accident I was in when I was younger. And it went from being broke to balling in one day, literally. So by that, I racked up a habit of spending. I was going to the bank every day, $2,500. Even if I never spun the last $2,500, every day. By me spending, now it's like, all right, there's nothing coming in. So now I'm going to invest in some drugs. I told a friend of mine, a former friend of mine, you know, go get us some weed. This weed sell. And of course, I should have knew then that he was like he wasn't for me because he come back with cocaine. I didn't want to sell cocaine. I wanted to sell weed. Come back with cocaine, and that opened up a Pandora's box. Like it just went downhill from there. I was selling cocaine now. At a nice level at that. Nobody knew. Nobody even knew I had case money. They thought I just was selling drugs, but I had case money. So I was able to do things other people couldn't do. When I was young, I was 17. I didn't even get it when I was 18. I was 17. Same day I got hit by a car. When I was 17, that same month, I got the money. So it was like from broke to balling, literally overnight.
He was a person that was out on the streets in the mix at the time and wound up getting caught up based on him being a part of a music group. Like the music group, they claimed, allegedly, the government claims that these guys were selling drugs. They had a drug enterprise. But he was like down on a portal to where as though he wasn't supposed to be caught up in the position he was in for them to be giving him life. So, you know, I do know that he was in the streets real heavy, and that Takedown Records, the music group, the feds allegedly, you know, thought they were selling drugs, and he got caught up in that.
That's where you're originally from and all that, live from Southwest.
For sure.
You know, it's a whole lot that went down in Southwest back in the day. You talking about JBM era, as far as the street side, then, you know, as far as the hip hop, you know, y'all got a lot of history as far as like Philly's Most Wanted, I think Tracy Lee from down here, if I ain't mistaken. Then the takedown situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on till today. And Southwest got a lot of people waving the flag today. So let's speak on, before we get into the current stuff, let's speak on, your history a little bit, like what it was like for you growing up at the time you came up out here in Southwest.
I mean, it's always survival of the fittest, you know what I'm saying? So I was ahead of my time. So I did the most wanted era. I ran with Boo and Mister. Me, Bugs, my man Mike Prada, call him Prada. We ran with most wanted. I ran with the 9 Brigade when I was a kid. I ran with all them guys coming up. They had respect for me, and vice versa. So I've been there, done that. I'm saying, from the golden era, man.
So speak on like the progression to takedown, like it started making a nice little wave in the city. They had the office downtown, reality show, all type of stuff going on. So speak on what it was like at the height of takedown, being a part of that situation.
All right, like what dudes don't know about takedown, right, is that before we even popped in Philly, we was popping OT. Talking about Miami, Texas, down south. Like me and Bugs and I was traveling. He'll tell you, we was doing shows with Jay-Z and The Rock. We was 18, 19 years old, not even opening up most of the time, like middle of the set. Beans might stop me and be like, yo, I got my family with me. And me and Bugs and them would get on the stage and just black out. So we already had love in Florida, down south. Like we already was popping outside the city. We came back to the city and got it popping. We had the city on smash on the clubs. Everybody know that. Any club that was popping back then, we had it. Palmer's, Transit, Flow, we had it. So we already was popping outside the city. We just came back to the city and they embraced us. So we had the we gave niggas the blueprint.
Okay.
What you're about to witness, like New Jack City, is a misinterpretation of the American dream. However, this is not a movie. This is real. In 2003, UPN commissioned a pilot for a reality series called Streets Incorporated. It focused on 2 young entrepreneurs from the hard world of Southwest Philadelphia, Ace Capone and Tim Gotti. 2 guys who imagined themselves larger than the ghetto and as big as a Fortune 500 company. They wanted to do it with a record label and bring the guys that they grew up with along with them. However, when UPN saw the pilot and its unflinching, brutally honest depiction of life on the street, they changed their minds. Really, they got scared, and they never aired it. And it's never been seen until now. 2 enterprising young men from Southwest Philadelphia had a dream to take their hustle from the streets to the boardroom. But somewhere in transit, that dream turned into a nightmare.
But me and Bugsy ended up getting signed to a record label called Takedown Records. Prior to this day, #1 independent label in Philadelphia. We did shows with the whole Rockefeller, State Property, like, list goes on. And it's like, that's kind of part of my indictment. The head of the record label got indicted, and I was the only rapper that got indicted because I was one of the only rappers that was really in the streets. So, we were signed to Sony. 2005, signed to Sony, like a 1 movie deal, 1 album option for more deal. And that's when we got indicted.
The former living girlfriend of convicted drug kingpin Alton, Ace Capone Coles, was recently sentenced to 2 years in prison on money laundering charges for helping Coles launder $114,000 in drug proceeds. The money was used to purchase a McMansion outside of Mulligan Hill, New Jersey, where the woman, Asa Richardson, and Coles were living back in August of 2005 when Coles was arrested. That arrest capped a lengthy investigation by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms into Coles' multi-million-dollar cocaine distribution network. The sentencing of Richardson capped this saga of Alton Coles. She was the last of more than a dozen defendants who were either convicted at trial or pleaded guilty.
You were raided by the police. What for, and how was that experience?
Yeah, I was raided by the police. Well, federally this time was 2005 for drug conspiracy. The experience was like a dream because you hear about the U.S. Marshals, the feds, but they really came like on a movie, like guns I never seen before with beams on it. Get on the ground, Nino, woke me out my sleep. So I thought I was dreaming at first until like the third gun in my face. I realized it was true. Well, I got indicted 2005. That was one indictment. When they see that I wasn't going to cooperate and whoever else wasn't going to cooperate, they start superseding us, which is they bring another indictment with more charges. So we got superseded 5 times, meaning that every time they brought another indictment, more people, more charges. That was 2005. I didn't make it to trial till 2009, fighting my case. So I was sitting for 4 years. Center City, seeing people I know walk past, they never knew I was here. Like, they was trying to break me. So 2009, I went to trial, but they offered me a plea, which ultimately ended up being a reason why I overturned my sentence. They offered me a plea. I took it, of course, because this is what I did. I'm gonna take this plea, 10 years. I served somebody some drugs. They was wired. I bought that. I can't argue that. They backdoored the plea. They came back and took the plea back from me. So I went to trial. Went to trial. They was vindictive and mad because I wouldn't cooperate. So they put motions in on me that's meant for Mexican cartel leaders, people that have 700 tons of cocaine. They put it in on me because I wouldn't cooperate. So they was being vindictive. And that's how I got my sentence.
What about his story really inspires you?
His mother. The reason why his mother inspires me is because I was raised by my grandparents. My mother didn't raise me, but you know, I was one of them individuals that with a love for my mother that had raised me no matter what she went through. And for him to be in that position, she was like the #1 person who supported him. You know what I'm saying? Every visit, he used to blow my mind. You know, like dudes be worrying about getting a woman on a visit, you know, because you're only allowed to get one friend on there. And his mom was coming up, and that honored me. It touched my soul every time I see her come into the visiting room.
Before he was incarcerated, you know, what effect did he have, you know, on the family, and, you know, how was he an example to, you know, everyone around him?
He was always funny. He always made everybody laugh. So
it's like, you know, comedy was something that
yes,
made everyone better and things like that.
Yes, he was good with the family. We was close family.
So, being locked up, how did it feel to you, you know, him being locked up? You know, what?
It was hard. It was like when he got life, like I lost another son. So it was very hard.
Could you tell me about, you know, your other sons and how it was, you know, how you coped with it?
Oh, wow. I'm still coping with it. So it's been like 15 years. It's very hard.
And, you know, him being in jail, what would you say, you know, was one of the strongest things about his character?
Then he became a man. While he was locked up, he became a man. He grew up.
Can you elaborate on that?
It's like he changed, you know, for the better. He changed for the better.
When you say he changed, like, what are some things that he changed about, you know?
He became more involved in Islam, and he became more caring. Not that he didn't care before, but he, you know, it became more noticeable. And he became more stronger. He was a stronger person. Being locked up and he had life, he was stronger than we were, stronger than I was. He kept me going, you know. He just kept saying everything was going to be okay, all right. So.
What were you scared of, like, most scared about?
Him having life, that dying and not never seeing him, you know. He in jail for the rest of his life. So he would never come home. So it was like I lost another son.
Yeah. So, what would you want his story, how would you like that to inspire others?
I don't really know. For him to just tell his story. Just go around telling his story to others. And he'd go to different schools, you know, tell his story to a lot of youth, keep it going. You know, my other grandchildren already know his story, so they already know. So just go around different schools telling his story.
And why is that so important?
For important for him or me?
For our community.
Because there's too many kids out here, you know, dying out on the corner, selling drugs, you know, going the wrong way. So it's very important.
How old were you when, you know, your daddy got locked up?
I was 2, I think.
Okay.
And then he came home when I was 12.
Okay. So, you know, how was it like when him coming home, you know, you didn't really get that much of a time to bond?
No, I didn't. My mom had like got married or whatever, and he was like my stepdad was out like around for a while, a long time. But I still know that I have a dad, and that my stepdad, he not my dad. But you know, it's just like my dad gonna always be my dad. Nobody could like ever take his place, no matter the situation. So.
And how did you feel, you know, during the course of you, you know, incarcerated?
Well, I was like real little when he did get locked up, so I was just really like too young to be sad. But as I got older, I like had to realize like, dang, like my dad really not coming home. Like, but when he did come home, I was like real happy.
Were you there when, you know, he walked out? Did you meet him?
No, I was here. He had came here like the first day or whatever.
So was it like a sort of like a surprise, or you guys knew?
No, we knew.
Okay, so how was your feelings during that moment?
I was happy, like real happy. Yeah.
And how would you describe your uncle?
Me? Like, he's funny and fun, and he always make us laugh. Like when he play with us and stuff. Like sometimes we'll be in a room or Kamar be mad, so I he'll go in the room and make Kamar happy, and Kamar won't be sad no more. Or like if I'm sad, like he'll make me come out there and then he'll play with me and something, and I get happier, and I feel better.
So you guys, you know, like to goof around and be silly and stuff like that.
Yes.
Do you think he sets a lot of good examples for you and the family?
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand that you had to go to court before the initial sentence. Can you describe what that process was like?
When I overturned my sentence, it was amazing in a good way. Like I say, because I never carried it like I'm gonna be in jail for the rest of my life. I always carried it like I was a traveler. Like, all right, I'm passing through. I'm gonna be home. So when I had to go to court, let me say this first. No lawyer, no help from the outside. Like, I did this on my own. Me and somebody I met named Mr. Earl, guys from Washington, D.C. I was fighting my case, played a little basketball, but I focused on my case. So once Mr. Earl did it, he did it for me with the help of me, you know, helped me first and foremost. He helped me out. He helped me word it correctly, you know, because I was writing like I was writing a rap song, to be honest. I'm writing like, yo, y'all got me in jail wrong. This was going to happen. Mr. Earl said, no, you got to talk to him in their language. So he dressed it up for me. But he told me to put it in on my direct appeal. I wasn't listening. I'm like, nah, this is for my 2255, which is ineffective assistance of counsel. Like if your lawyer do something wrong. So I didn't listen to Mr. Earl. Mr. Earl ended up getting shipped to another jail. I lost my direct, which he told me I would. He told me, you're going to lose your direct. Put it in now. I didn't do it. I lost my direct. But my faith never wavered. So he left though. So now I'm stuck like, damn, this is my right-hand man. This who gave me the game free of charge, you know, just genuinely. So I ended up meeting another guy, a Jewish guy by the name of Dusenberg. He was a millionaire. Knew how to do law, didn't want to do law. But he told me if I ever need him, he would help me. So I went to him and he helped me. He was amazed at the motion itself. He was amazed, like, who did this? I told him. So he dressed it up and put it in the form of 2255, which I was on now. And like, the response came so fast. People was like, yo, this man, God must love you. I put the response in a week, I put it in a week, heard the response back, not even 7 whole days. From them 7 days, I heard another response back. The last response was, we're going to grant you a lawyer so we can handle this matter. And like I said, once I got a lawyer, it just was like, it was like unbelievable. It was like, I never thought that was going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen, if it makes sense. I prayed on it, but when it happened, it was like, it called my bluff. So.
You start talking about your journey to freedom a little bit with Mr. Earl, but can you talk about your journey to freedom and justice?
Well, first, big shout out to Meek Mills and what they got going on with the justice reform and those type things. But it's like, you got to have a purpose. What I mean by that is, it was easy for me to go to jail with a life sentence and become a tyrant. I got an excuse. I got a life sentence. I can take your life. I can do anything and have an excuse. And the people will justify it. Even the correctional officer, they justify it. But it was more so like, how can I beg God for a second chance and do all these things that's against what he tell me to do? So it's like, you gotta have faith. No matter what you got, you gotta have faith. That's first and foremost. You gotta be patient. You're gonna take a lot of blows. Meaning, what I mean by that is, stuff not gonna always go your way. You're gonna be broke. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna miss out on all the so-called excitement that the jail got going on. But it's about a bigger picture. So you gotta have faith. You gotta have strength. You gotta be strong. You gotta have family support. That's big. So for the people that have family that's incarcerated, you gotta support them. You gotta support them. They need that. That goes a long way. I'll tell you firsthand, it goes a long way.
Today is your lucky day, Mr. Brown. Stay away from guys like Alton Cole. What does that mean?
That was a statement like that took me by shock. I walked in the courtroom to my hearing. Now, let me go back just a little bit. My sister was putting on Facebook for years, my brother got life. Anybody come out with a lawyer, here's his address, such and such, such and such. Nobody reached out. One person ended up reaching out. I'm forever indebted to this person. They know who they are. But nobody did nothing. But when she put on Facebook, my brother's going back to court. He's overturning his sentence. I mean, I saw people I haven't saw in years. And I'm grateful for that. Like, they didn't owe me anything. But so I walk in the courtroom. I kind of already knew that I was going to get some relief because, like I said, I prayed on it. I didn't get this far for it to be nothing. But when I got in the courtroom, I had a new prosecutor that was sitting in for the old prosecutor. And as soon as I walk in, he said, today's your lucky day. Stay away from guys like Alton Coles. So I smirked inside, but my response was, who that? And he laughed and said, good answer. So, that's what I had to tell him.
You talked a little bit about your life sentence being overturned. What was that process like?
Like I said, it was long. It was long because I was indicted in 2005. I set 4 years. That was long in itself. It burnt me out. But the process was fairly easy getting in court. But it took so long to get, I would have been home. It took so long to get home because my old prosecutor, once he got his convictions, he wanted to be a judge. The assistant prosecutor wanted to be a prosecutor. The judge wanted to run for Congress. They got a big conviction on a big conspiracy. So he told the new prosecutor, he told him what he should have told him, which was, we didn't know he was going to get life. A lot of lies, but he actually confided in him. We didn't know he was going to get life. He was a good kid. He one of the few that never came and talked to us and played with us, because you had dudes on my case going over there talking to them, trying to lie to them or try to tell on somebody and say they self. He said he one of the few guys that never came and talked to us. So everything he told the new prosecutor put inside of a motion. She put in the affidavit. So when the old prosecutor heard this, he got upset. He said, I told you these things, me confiding in you, telling you about this kid. So he was trying to take my plea back. So this took so long, it was like, now he's not getting it. I'm trying to veto it. He's not going to get it because I'm a judge now. If y'all put this out and it get out, it's like I'm admitting that I did this guy wrong. So that was the process what took so long of them talking to him, going back and rewriting it and doing all these things. So the process was long and it was stressful, but it was like, I didn't get to the end now, you know, the waiver. So I kept the same faith in.
Yeah, so putting it all in perspective of how young he was and how he handled it and didn't waver or show any type of weakness in the matter, he motivated me. He was like an inspiration to me in the situation. I was taking the situation as it affected me a little bit different. I was on some, oh yeah, well, if this the end of it, I'm gonna start acting out. I'm a, you know what I mean, the hopelessness started, you know, creeping into me, whereas I wanted to act out, I wanted to do stuff to people. I wanted to, you know what I mean, just go out like on some, what they call like the rah-rah stuff. I wanted to act that manner. And when he talked to me, and he would be like, this, you know, this is in the law's hands. You know, we supposed to worship the law. We'll get up out of this. He had this demeanor with him that was so like mature and far ahead of his, like, people in his age bracket would handle stuff. I was acting immature, and he was mature in the matter. Right. So I used to see that in him, and it affected me and changed my behavior and made me look at the situation in a better manner. And from doing that, as you can see, you know, by you talking to me now, we ended up, even though we got convicted, we ended up overturning our sentences and making it home. He made it home before me, but, you know, we're both here. And, you know, a few other our co-defendants is getting home. So our relationship and the way I view it now, from having him by my side and going to war with him and coming out of that war, you know what I mean, the way we did, I have a different type of attachment and love for him that I probably wouldn't have with someone else that I didn't go through that hardship with.
Was there ever a point in time where you lost faith?
Never. And funny thing is, my faith always increased. Anybody that know me personally or don't know me personally that was locked up with me, I tell you, my faith always increased. Like, because like I said, I can't say I believe in God in one hand and then not believe what he said in the other hand. It's a difference. People believe there's a God, but they don't believe in God. And that's what I always tell people. When you get those two things together, nothing can stop you. You believe in God and you believe God. So to believe in God is like, you got to be a strong person because you believe in the unseen. It's not like you believe in somebody telling you, here goes some money, come get it. You see it. No, it's you believing in God saying, if you do this, I'll do that. And you got to really believe that it's going to happen. So I say, if I can believe a dude that told on me, I knew him all my life. We slept in the same bed, went to Job Corps together, had our first girl together. Like, if I believe him telling me I got your back, or I'll never tell on you, all these things, I can believe him and he told on me. God not going to let me down like that dude. He's a human. God not going to let me down. So that was the mind frame I had.
What would your message to prisoners going through the same situation be?
Never give up. Like I said, it's dudes that I didn't even talk to. Like, they didn't like me because I didn't conform to what they was doing. When I got back to my jail, these same dudes showed me the utmost respect because I never let nobody make me adapt to what they was doing. If you don't like me, you're not gonna like me for being me. I'm not gonna be you because I'm not gonna like me being you. So, like, they gotta have faith. It's never over. It's never over, no matter what. The feds have a 90% conviction rate. This scare people, but they don't tell you that they have an 87% overturn rate, meaning that if you patient and you fight your case, if you didn't plea out, you can overturn your sentence. The conviction rate is mainly for people that pled out or people that told. So if you look at the 87% and the 90% and subtract it, they only got like a 10% conviction rate. But they scare people with that and make people cooperate and tell lies and telling their mother, their grandmothers, like, it's crazy. And then they become in a position where they stuck now. They can't look in the mirror, or they can't go where they want to go. They can't enjoy their family. They can't enjoy their freedom because now you work for the government. And the government don't like that. It's called treason. If you tell them the United States government is called treason, they don't like that. You're going to get punished for that. But that's their job. So of course they're going to allow you to cooperate and lie on somebody and take somebody else's life. It's that simple. That's a good question. That experience, I mean, I didn't get nothing bad out of the experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. I gotta say that. People say that I wouldn't change my experience for the world. For one, because I was blessed that none of my family, none of my family was killed or died. No major tragedies. And it taught me a lot. It taught me, and I'm not even talking about streetwise, but it taught me, like, be careful who you call your friends. Because this is somebody that, again, like I said, his mom called me son. My mom called her son. This is the same guy that when my brother got killed in 2003, he was there. He called my brother to the scene and then left him. And my brother got killed from behind. So it's like, this is the same guy that helped take 2 of my mom's sons away. And I'm not mad at him. You know what I'm saying? I should have saw the signs, but like I said, it taught me, be careful who you call your friend. Because if this guy who I called my brother lied on me, even if he told the truth, I could have defended the truth. You can't defend a lie. If he did it to me, anybody will do it to me. And that's not cool to think that way, but that's how I gotta think. I gotta think that way, like, unless it's genuine and it's not about nothing. Now, I don't give nobody a reason to tell them. What you gonna tell me about? Nothing. That I'm doing good. But it taught me like family support. I was around dudes with lesser time that had no family support and they might have killed themselves. And I'm thinking to myself, well, imagine you had life. Dude might have had a year left, but no family support. His girl left him. Or she being spiteful to him on the phone, telling him somebody was raising your kid. So I learned family support mean a lot. Like, it means a whole lot. That can help you get through a lot. I saw dudes get on medication and get, I don't want to say like get used as a guinea pig, but get used as a guinea pig. They just diagnose him with something and give him medication. And that same dude who was normal one day, next day he don't even know who I am. So it taught me, like I said, it taught me family support. It taught me faith. More than anything, it taught me faith. It helped me really get in tune with my faith, my religion. It taught me patience, because there's times that there's people that knew me. There's people that know me from the street. An incident might have happened and be like, uh-oh, I know it's about to happen. And what he thought was going to happen didn't happen. He'd be looking at me like, what happened? I'm saying, like, oh, you really must have changed. So it taught me patience. If I can be patient with a dude in prison with a life sentence, I can be patient with people on the street. It taught me law. Like, co-defendant of mine used to always say, his teacher told him, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So we don't have to really get locked up to learn law. Because if you don't know law, they can do whatever they want to you. Like, whatever they want to you. So it taught me to understand law better. It taught me, like I say, family, but it taught me family as far as spending time with family. That keep you out of a lot of trouble. Like, I could have went to Miami. I could have went to all these places that was popping, but I went to Disney World with my kids, and it kept me out of trouble. I was out of trouble. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't popping bottles. I wasn't making it rain. I was with my family. So it taught me a whole lot. It taught me a whole lot.
Do you regret selling drugs?
I do, because it was a means to nothing. Like, it was like momentarily, like, I guess, I wouldn't know personally because I don't smoke crack, but it's like some people that you meet that smoke crack. It'd be like a momentary get high. Then they need more crack. Then they need more crack. So I do regret it, because it didn't get me nowhere. All hardship. It got me all hardship. So I do regret selling drugs, definitely.
Who is Keenan Brown now that he's out of prison?
I'm a father, a brother, a son, an entrepreneur. I'm imperfect, still trying to find my way, but I'm a good guy still. I think I'm a better guy now because I've been through so much. So safe to say I'm the same person, but older and more wiser. So I still had the same characteristics. I'm still big on integrity. I'm still big on loyalty. I'm still big on, I trust you as long as you allow me to trust you and don't deceive me. So it's pretty much the same person, just more mature.
Jones. My brother Gene enjoyed the MiG. They don't roll. They're doing 1,000 years now. They don't roll. They don't rack white. That's the rule. You don't break.
Keenan?
Basic
That's
rule.
Big Bro right there.
So we know how it feel. Now we living by the code, never show or reveal. Nino the 10 and 25 and gave it back on the bill. Never ratted on his friends, he was facing the wheel. Almost died when we was 9, it's like he made out of steel. If you ever heard his story, it would give you the chills. I'm talking Southwest Philly, that's the way he was built. From the bottom of the barrel in the midst of the filth. But a rose grew out that, he rose from out that. And everything he lost, Allah made sure he got back. Story written by God, so no man can stop that. Makes a lot in
Keenan is a real stand-up dude. He went to prison. They gave him a life sentence. He took the time like a man. He overturned his sentence. Now he's back out here with his family. He can spend time with his kids. You just gotta stay loyal to God and loyal to the people that's loyal to you.
Okay. What would be the take-home message, you want to tell the audience about your son?
That he's a fighter. That he's a survivor, They don't let him hold him down, hold him back.